Have you ever seen an edit of an anime or see the old clip of one and go, sure, I'll give that a watch? Or if you're like me, you add it to a watch list and finally get round to it about 3 years later. However, when you do finally watch it,
it's the biggest piece of dog shit.
Or it begins with an interesting premise, but the writing or animation or something just makes it so hard to watch. This video is about the latter, anime that I've watched or probably dropped that started good, and then proceeded to fall off a cliff. Or, in other words, anime that...
We were on the verge of greatness, we were this close.
And how I'd maybe look at rewriting these shows. To start with the obvious, the initial concept for Rent-A-Girlfriend is actually pretty decent. A man in his early 20s or late teens renting a girlfriend after a breakup unfortunately isn't the most unrealistic plot imaginable. However, making this series a harem has probably done the most damage to the story, besides how weird the manga is, and not even in like a fun Tatsuki Fujimoto way, just like a loser way. If I was to rewrite the storyline, I'd make Mami a more likeable character. She can still be a toxic ex, but an actual understandable character to a degree. And make her relationship with Kazuya more like 6 months and 3 weeks. This way, Kazuya's emotional attachment to her will seem a bit more understandable, and if you make Kazuya and Chizuru start to have actual feelings for each other, it would actually make a pretty decent love triangle. You can make an argument for either side, the new perfect girl that he's fake dating, or his toxic ex who's maybe used him a little and is still a villain, but someone that he's still very much attached to. This story, admittedly, is still pretty bland and predictable, but you could probably make it work for 100 chapters or so. It's definitely heaps better than this pile of bullshit. Plus, if you still wanted to add Ruka or Sumi for some reason, just make them friends of his at university or other rental girlfriends that he has to go on a date with for one reason or another. Gate is one of those anime that's obviously had a lot of love put into it in some areas, but has just been plainly neglected in others. There's loads of references to war films and TV series, even some less popular ones like Generation Kill, but the isekai and fantasy tropes are in there completely ruined the show for me. Why do we need 3 episodes on training magic when we can be nuking dragons? One of these things is objectively cooler than the other. I'm normally all for world building and fantasy, but Gate is just one of those anime that should be just straight up power fantasy. To fix it, just give us some generic bad guy, some demon king or something, and have the military have to find creative ways to counter new forms of magic, or maybe guerrilla fighters have got some hands on modern weapons. That would be far more entertaining than the dumpster fight that is Gate's plot. Also, why does the main guy have to be some special forces guy who's secretly like this chill attacker who's just like you? I get it's probably for like recruiting purposes, but it just comes across as bad writing. Following a random average soldier who's having to navigate this brand new war with magic and dragons would be far more interesting. Right, I'm going to start rapid firing some of these, because I'm just going to be here all day else. Re:Zero, I really like Re:Zero. First anime I kind of fell in love with, made me really appreciate the medium for once. But the plot points have been messed around with so much in the anime that you're better off just reading the light novels. Haganai would have been a lot better if the romance side was focused on just making the MC a couple with just one of the girls. He seems to be changing his mind every other episode, just make a decision and stick with it. Also remove the ecchi parts, they're just unneeded. Yuju Senki, remove the magic or at least make it more limited in its power. I feel like it ruins the First World War, Second World War aesthetic. Spy Family, remove the child. This anime would be so much better without this fuck-ass child. Focus on the assassinations and the spying, what we're all here for, and remove this child that's just constantly in the fucking way. Also remove the German otaku from Zom 100, I just found it to be annoying. What was the point of this video again? I feel like my videos are starting to get extremely negative. There isn't really a message behind this that is just incredibly frustrating when you can see the potential in the series, but it ends up being plain bad. I don't really know how to end this little rant video saying, so yeah. Next video out will probably be the next episode of 5-minute reviews, so I'll see you there. Or something. Bye.